Let's get into it. Brands today are no more just selling products. They're storytellers. They are the theater. So we have the immersive panel here, which is basically not only omni-channel. They're creating stories not only for their social media, not only for their e-commerce or online media, but for their retail stores. So let's start. We'll start with Dr. Paul. So tell us something. Pharma and wellness sector is not typically very storytelling or not a very immersive, but you've managed to make even Dawa India into somewhere where people would go in, browse, not only buy medicines and walk out. How did you manage that?
Well, for any retail, as a matter of fact, be it pharma or non-pharma, the most critical parameter is, whether you're actually ensuring that your end consumer, whoever it is, in whatever sectors or brands that you're working at, are they really satisfied with what you're giving to them? Unfortunately, in Indian retail, we find things are very skewed. But for Dawa India, what we have ensured is that every single consumer who walks into our store, primarily consumers who have chronic ailments like gastro, cardiac, diabetic, etc., they are having very high quality medicines at an affordable price. Now, Indian retail as by far cuts through a different ergonomics. It works on increasing the ticket value, and that's not the truest sense of retail, what it should be ideally. But we do exactly reverse. We ensure that the ticket value becomes as low as possible to the end consumer. And as I said, be it any retail, be it apparels, be it fashion, be it restaurant, if a responsible retailer cannot ensure that they genuinely save money for the end consumer, that is not a sustainable retailing. And the biggest of countries have shown it through demonstrations. If you see China, if you see Japan, they have done enough demonstrations. So at Dawa India, we ensure that every single consumer who walks in get whatever medicines that they need, whatever pharma, whatever wellness, whatever Nutra product they need, but at a very, very affordable price. Yeah, the similar product would be more than 50% outside our stores. Mm-hmm. So that's what we do, and that's what have been driving a great story unfolding across urban and rural India.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. So from our inner medicinal requirements to the outer beauty, Sanjay, tell us how Mia by Tanishq has, jewelry is extremely personal, right? So how have you created these beautiful stores which also resonate with the consumer walking into 10 other competitors there, and your online experience, which is as immersive as your storefront? How did you manage that?
Check. Well, great. I think that's a very interesting question. What I would start, and you said that we speak immersive stories, right? So I'm going to tell you a story. And I come from a brand, which is the best thing to buy today, because gold prices have actually touched 1 lakh. And we make 14 karat jewelry, which is still priced at 60,000. So that's the best thing to buy. So anyway, so the story that I want to say today is that, so there is a consumer by the name of Lakshmi, who is actually sitting in her house and browsing our app or our website. And obviously she has selected, 2 earrings and put it on the wish list. She has been browsing there continually, and she is a registered user of ours. Now what happens, and obviously the experience is pretty great, and we have launched the collection called the Fiora collection, whereby we have created VM inside our stores, which is in the form of flowers and butterflies, and exactly the same that we have created online. Right, so when you go to on the website and move the cursor, you will find flowers and butterflies flying out. So that's the experience that we want to replicate, online to offline, offline to online. So let me come back to the story now. I forgot the name of the consumer. Okay, let's take Lakshmi.
You said.
Yeah, so Lakshmi has selected 2 earrings and put it on the wish list. So what happens, we captured this information as she is a registered user, and we pass on, and Lakshmi is sitting in Koramangala. I'm talking because, we are in Bangalore, and she's from Koramangala. So what we do is we pass on this information to the nearest store that we have to Lakshmi, which is in Koramangala. And our store staff will get that as a lead inside the store. And when the store staff looks at the data, and Lakshmi in her last visit to the store had actually said, my husband's name is Dinesh, and our anniversary is on the 30th of April, right? So this store staff picks up that information, and we have Dinesh's number, and so Dinesh is called and said that, and first of all, Dinesh is so grateful to us that we have reminded him that it's anniversary. Men will always be men. So Dinesh gets reminded that your anniversary is on 30. He has got a golden egg in his hand, and then the store staff says, sir, what Lakshmi madam was actually browsing, and she has selected 2 earrings and put it on the wish list. So this is the second golden egg that Dinesh has got. And then they do a conspiracy with Lakshmi, said that, okay, sir, so let's do this. On the 30th of the month, we will come to your house and celebrate your anniversary, and this will be a surprise gift for her. So the store staff actually goes with a team, goes to Lakshmi and Dinesh on their anniversary day with those 2 earrings. And Lakshmi is so delighted that how did Dinesh come to know? So this is the conspiracy that we create, and these are the experiences that we want to create. So any lady here sitting, please ensure that next time you visit the Mia store, please give your husband's number and anniversary date.
But not all are Dinesh, na?
Oh, we will make them.
Thank you so much. So Samiran, will come to you. So Purplle was a digital first brand, and then they went omni-channel. So doesn't this whole storytelling that you had on your digital platforms, how did you translate it to your physical stores so that the consumer had the same experience?
Okay, so hi, good evening all. So answer is very simple. I'll just build on what Sanjay said right now.
You are also selling to the husbands?
Not exactly, but the narrative is pretty simple. We are doing the simple thing, right? So, the integration, offline and online has to be, that seamless integration has to be there. So, we are focusing on having the same consumers who are there online. They're the same thing, same set of people who are buying luxury. They're the same set of people who are buying from us as well. So, I'll give you another deeper example. I can name any good, let's say a lipstick brand, hypothetical, let's say a Bobbi Brown, okay? The same red shade which you are wearing, probably you're the same customer who needs 40 shades of red lipsticks, not one. So you cannot have the 40 Bobbi Browns, probably that...
Across genre 40.
Yes, so cross genres. Yeah. So the same set of customers, we don't differentiate. It is the same set of customers in a same geography where we have that advantage of data, which gives me a deeper penetration of that market. Okay, here you have got this much of people who are out of that population already your customer. You can build on that. Of course, there are offline methods as well apart from that, that is the total market share and what you're eyeing out of that. So yes, that seamless narrative is very important. And what Sanjay was saying, very important thing, is that to continue to be able to, these offline centers are also experience centers for us. So what happens, these cart added items which are there, which are left, okay, these are also because there's another aspect of it, that is people don't realize, okay, how is that product going to be on my skin, or at how is it actually going to be when I buy it. So that belief factor, for that experience center is needed. So I'm not building a new consumer for myself, I'm building on the consumer which we are already there. So that's the answer.
Lovely. So we'll go over to Hitesh. A very niche category. Sleepwear is still an emerging category in India, but you've managed to open 50 stores in a very, very short amount of time. So how did Sweet Dreams, make this category so popular that people are actually walking into stores and feeling very comfortable to buy only sleepwear. It's not loungewear, it's not lingerie, it's sleepwear. What did you do?
Thank you, Nandini, for these kind words. Yes, sleepwear is a very, very important category, and I'm going to talk about that category in detail today. So let's assume we actually have 24 hours a day. But out of this 24 hours a day, 12 hours usually we spend at home. 8 hours is supposed to be good for good sleep for a good health, 2 hours prior and 2 hours later. So 50% of our time we engage with some or the other kind of clothing. By habit, any country which is moving from poverty to affordability to desirability, this segment of sleepwear is usually a very ignored category, and our biggest competition even today is old clothes, purane kapde, old corporate t-shirts, and that consumes about 90% of our market share. The size of Indian sleepwear market is around 5,000 crores annually. And in this 5,000 crores, there are two major categories. One is core sleepwear, which is a loose t-shirt or a loose pajama or a nightie, which is a huge market from unorganized sector. And there is an interesting category that we are into, which is a fashion sleepwear. Now, if you analyze a family or if you study their habits, this 12 hours is not one emotion. Of course, the biggest emotion is मुझे आराम करना है, मुझे सोना है, मुझे rest करना है. But beyond rest, you want to have moments of fun, you want to engage with your family, go for a pajama party, go for a sleepover, go for a walk, go for a drive, watch TV. Many such emotions which are more of fun kind. And there you don't want to wear boring clothes, loose clothes. You want to look nice and crisp. There are emotions when you would want to be intimate. You want to have some indication, sensory indications. And everybody wants to indulge with a partner. Now there also you need some kind of a specialized clothing for sleep. And of course the other emotion is rest, comfortable clothing. And last but not the least, modern lifestyle is all about travel. So while you are traveling, and quite a lot of times we travel late because we don't want our, either we travel early or we travel late because we don't want to compromise on our work day. So during travel also you need to have very comfortable clothing. So based on all this consumer research which we carry out regularly, we design all our products catering to every different emotion that they come across in this 12 hours of their life, which is 50% of their human life. And to push this category right into the mainstream, what we did is when we started our own retail, so of course we started from a mom and pop store to a shop-in-shop to a online marketplace to our own website. When we started our own stores, we started from airports. So very busy airports like Mumbai, T1 and T2, Pune Airport, Ahmedabad, Chennai. And we put this category right into the eyes of the consumers. And we created world of pajamas. You know, people otherwise used to consume from a mom and pop store. They suddenly found there are 200, 500 styles in different silhouettes, so modern, for different occasions. And they really blessed us with so much of love that today, out of every 10 stores, 7 stores ranks in terms of sales per square feet out of rank number 1, 2 or 3 on the floor. That's the kind of love that we have achieved from the consumers. So from airports to, we went to the top malls in the country, and now probably we'll start our high street journey.
Lovely. So that's a long journey, and certainly a category that most of us really ignore. As you said, there are so many emotions to sleepwear, but these pajama parties will be your Gen Zs and the new couples and all that, right? Old people, as you said, still prefer their t-shirts. So that's a thing we have to break about. But coming to Gautam, a very different genre, luxury fashion. So how have you been able to create your own stories and your own theater at your beautiful stores while keeping the story of the multiple designers that you stock intact?
Thanks. Yeah, I think, the brand positioning or the positioning of Aza in the minds of the customer as a marketplace, I think that is one part of the story. The other part of the story is the designers who bring Indian handcrafted products, bring Indian ethnic products to a global Indian diaspora and beyond. So these two are complementary in nature in our understanding, and it's Aza which is the enabler in terms of providing the platform, giving the giving the center stage to the brand, and then the designer brings forward their storytelling, their craftsmanship, and that's what takes center stage, and we are happy to step back and enable. So from a customer lens, Aza needs to, and we try to actually give a consistent experience across our stores as well as online marketplace across geographies, try to make sure that the entire catalog is available both online, offline, the experience is similar, it's guided, and that's the value that we bring to the table. Vis-a-vis the designer, where it's the different type of products, the most in-trend designs, those are the things that we have to discover, and we discover and make sure that we have sufficient curation of the most luxury taste palettes within the country. If there are evolving patterns, we react to that fast enough and make it. So as far as I'm concerned, I think we see it as a very complementary ground, whereas a marketplace, you are kind of the frame, and the art is sort of the design wear, which anyways is sort of quite artistic and aesthetic in our case. Yeah.
So even for luxury fashion, how effective is the online commerce going on?
So it's actually very effective for us because it's complementary, as I said, in terms of, I think Sanjay mentioned that story and I resonate with that fully. We have use cases in reverse as well, that you have seen something offline, or you are here during December for a particular store, you purchase bulk shopped, then you've gone back to the US and you don't have, Indian ethnic wear available at retail stores the way we do. So offline to online, online to offline kind of flows seamlessly. And from our point of view, I think we are looking at online as an extension of the offline experience. So you can hear about the sort of the journey of the brand or the history of the brand in the portal, and you can actually have a look at the fabric, try out the outfits in our stores, and lead to a purchase conclusion. Additionally, what works for us is the fact that we have a large NRI audience or an Indian diaspora audience, people of Indian origin across the globe, whom we serve across 40 plus countries, primarily in US, UK, Canada, Australia, the big four in our sort of scheme of things. And we don't have stores there, physical stores yet. We are in the process of exploring the ideas, but as of now, we are offline in India and online. So even for those customers, the journey, it's the same customer, and we have different use cases which get served across these touch points.
Fantastic. So I'll come to you, Dr. Pal. Tell us, how does Dava India stand apart from these other pharmacy chains whom we will not name here, and how you have created such an experience that the person checking for online symptoms, which is what most of us do first, is coming and purchasing either online or offline from you?
India is a country of 1.4 billion people, roughly 143 crores is the population that India have. And we have close to around 20 lakh mom and pop pharmacies in the country. These are data points. So the other pharmacies that you see, primarily they sell either branded medicines or similar. For Dawa India, and Dawa India is the only pharmacy in India that sells 100% private label. What does it mean? It means that, for example, if any one of your home you have cardiac patient or diabetic patient, easily you will see that your bill value will go up to 5,000 to 7,000 rupees easily per month. Now there is, if you get the similar molecules, then your bill value comes to as low as 1,500 rupees. And these medicines are manufactured in the same plants, so are the same manufacturing units. Now there is where you build a niche story unfolding to the end consumer to understand that you cannot extract and keep extracting money out of the consumers. Of course, we have the offline and the online platform where right from the rural to the interiors of India is what we are catering to. Now, the problem is that in India, we are speaking so much about retail, but most companies, and especially when I work with the governments, I see most companies don't understand that what the basic need for India is at this point of time. It is to have a healthy India. And if you don't have that healthy India, whatever businesses that you are seeing today, trust in me, it's not too far that those will start evaporating. And I would say 50% or more are all the new businesses that we see and all the new jargons that we hear. That's not what Indian retail is all about. Indian retail is all about, we are sitting in Bangalore. You just go a little ahead, go to Hoskote, go to Chennapatna, go to Mandya, go to the interiors and see that people cannot afford basic food. What are we talking about retail there? And there is where, if you don't have the basic food, the basic medicines, I find mothers crying because they can't afford branded expensive medicines. Now, I find, we have great products. And anyone who have gone to any of our 1,500 stores that we have across the country, they have seen those products. Now, anyone who is a vegetarian, they may be deficit of, say, for example, vitamin B12, methylcobalamin. And you go to a normal clinic or a hospital, easily you spend 300, 400 rupees. An average Indian who earns close to around 15 to 20,000 rupees, what is retailing for them? With 20,000 rupees monthly income of a person, we are talking about retailing, can't imagine. And they would have their expenses of their children going to school. They will have to pay a rent of at least 4,000 to 5,000 rupees. They will have ailing parents. Now, unfortunately, we don't speak these realities. And there is where Dawa India comes into action. There is where we make people understand. I was speaking about vitamin B12. You spend 300 to 400 rupees, come to Dawa India store, it's 12 rupees a strip, same 1500 mcg. Now, why will you spend that 300 rupees? And why not 12 rupees? Now, that is what makes India different. And that is what we are doing. We are working in the Gram Panchayats, we are working in the villages, we are working with the deprived women to make them understand that it is important for first is India to have proper education and to become healthy. If you don't do these basics, whatever we are speaking maybe because we are sitting here, but the reality is something different.
Lovely. Thank you so much. This is actually what we wanted to know, that how are you going into Bharat and how are you doing it. Thank you so much for letting us know that. Sanjay, over to you. Can you tell us, with all this evolving consumer expectations, how is Mia by Tanishq using tech integrations like endless aisles and all that?
So I think technology is actually complementing the experience that we want to deliver inside the stores, because too much of technology is also very, very overwhelming. And we need to understand that, there is that one person inside the store, and Doctor mentioned about it very interestingly, that all these technologies inside the store will be used by that individual who earns between 15, 20, 25,000 rupees. And these are superhumans. So we need to actually use technology that can be used well, and which is frictionless, which is easy to use. And you spoke about endless aisle. Now, NSIL is obviously used in our stores to ensure that if there is a product not available inside the store, how quickly we can check which store has it, which nearby store has it, and whether that product can be easily brought into the, into that store where the consumer is. Or we can actually show the product and take an appointment saying that, we will get the product to you. Now, apart from endless aisle, there are other technologies that we use inside the stores. One is a QR code, where we want to give that seamless experience to the customer. The customer walks into the store, so there's a new product. I spoke about the Fiora collection, so there is a small QR code there where the store staff actually tells the consumer to scan that QR code, and then you have an immersive experience also. So you are not only using it to make the customer speak from the store staff's point of view, but also making that customer go online. So it is, and for me, personally, if you ask me, people talk about the omni-channel, but I actually speak and tell that it is the uni-channel. Everything gets unified at one point. Whether it's customer online, offline, everything. So you really don't know how quickly the customer or the store staff needs to shift from an online experience to an offline experience and offline to online. And I think you mentioned it, saying that, we try to replicate these experiences. Whatever we do offline has to go online, and online have to come offline. So that's the real story. How do you create this frictionless experience for the consumer?
Lovely. So since you mentioned Samiran, I'll ask you the same question. How are you turning your loyal online consumer into an offline, IRL consumer using tech?
Okay, so we are, at Purplle, we are basically believing in one simple agenda, that is transformation over transaction. So what happens there? When I'm saying this, it is basically everywhere. We are trying to implement the technology which we have, being a digital first brand. What happens, we are blessed with some insights of consumer behavior, how each pin code of India, for the matter, we have 22,000 pin codes in India, so are behaving, how their consumers are, what are their preferences, and what are, based on that, we can do the perfect demand planning. Regional, micro and macro level, specifically, if you see the consumers, how they are behaving, it is very different across the country. So we are doing that. While we are doing that, we are also focusing on the aspect that we are doing basic things right. We are not diversifying our portfolio in a way where I am confused about who my consumers are. So that clarity we are keeping intact, and we are building on that. Yeah.
Lovely. So I have a question for all the panelists, the same question, and I want all of you to weigh in on this. In our last summit, we had some of the top retailers of India talk about the challenges of omni-channel and making the entire thing unified, that how difficult it is at the back end, and there are many challenges. So would you agree with that? Is omni-channel and unified commerce a big challenge that maybe not everyone is at par and there are problems? What is your take on that?
So omni-channel is no longer a choice. So the primary differentiation factor is that what is the purpose, right? If the purpose is, okay, I want to spend my Sunday evening well, I would go to a mall, I will get into an instant gratification, I will spend time with the family and consume those brands. And suppose if I have to travel suddenly, next week I am traveling, I am short of time, I would consume that same brands online. So it's all about gratification and need, and for a true brand, they cannot afford to say I am available in so and so channel or I am available in so and so channel. Plus, one very important thing which most of us are ignoring or trying to forget is the 200-year-old traditional retail. It's very deeply penetrated. If you talk about any large business in the country, including Hindustan Levers of the world, or anybody, it's very deeply penetrated. The mom and pop stores, they have an advantage that for 200 years, that retail was not so competitive. They made a lot of money. They invested into real estate. They had large families. All of them survived on those retail shops. So the cost of operation for these retailers is very, very low as compared to what we talk about modern retail, or if we talk about other channels put together. So this channel also, I highly recommend that for Sweet Dreams, 70% of our business comes out of traditional channels. Of course, the growth in that channel is a challenge, but that itself is a very large channel and very deeply distributed.
Lovely. What about you, Kaustav? What is your take on the challenges of going omni-channel?
I think I agree on most of the points by the other panelists. Firstly, I think it is no longer a choice. But it is also not a very smooth process at the back end, right? So there are challenges, but so is 10-minute delivery in quick commerce, right? But if the customer need is such, then we are here to sort of create processes in terms of tech and blend of human interventions processes as well to make it viable for the customer. So in our case as well, we want to give a fully phygital experience, which means that everything that is available online is available at the store. In fact, when a customer is shopping at the store and they, let's say, for example, prefer a particular designer, and we have 10 styles of that in the store, and they want to explore some more, right? They want to go deeper, they want to, so what they can do is actually go to a kiosk right in the store and check out the other products available from the same designer across the stores in the country. Then they can also look at the online catalog. So at any point of contact with the customer, we are able to, and we would like to be able to, present the entire choices that is there in terms of whether it's a product type, whether it's a particular designer, and that's how we have been integrating. We've been able to sort of integrate almost the entire catalog in terms of, let's say, some parts of the long tail still remain, and maybe there are some time delays. So if some channel goes live on day X, it probably takes a couple of days more. But it is a truly omni-channel and a uni-channel business, as he mentioned, because Insta Reel can lead to a sort of top of funnel, then a consideration can happen on my app, then the conversion can actually happen in the retail store. Also, we have seen certain categories like, for example, bridal wear, which is a very, very heavy consideration category. So for that, the same user will actually spend that Sunday evening that he talked about, walk into a store, spend 2 hours, check the fit, and get it absolutely right, because it's not only expensive, it's also a very specific use case, and you don't want to get it wrong on that day. But the same shopper has breathwear that she wears throughout the year, right? And there are sort of other occasions which are not as make or break, right? For which the convenience of online is going to be more important than the purchase being very successful. So I think we are seeing a bit of both, and tech is enabling this at the back end.
Lovely. Mr. Paul.
So for us, it's very difficult. See, like for example, we sell a lot of products in wellness, Nutra, and similar, like vitamin C serum, which costs maybe 3,500 rupees in a normal market. We sell almost a similar vitamin C serum, maybe at 300 rupees. Yeah. So that's kind of price difference that we operate, because we really, really want to ensure the way how India is unfolding, we cater to that. But the bigger challenge actually lies when end consumers ask for Schedule H, Schedule X, or narcotics or psychotropic drugs. Then there are a lot of challenges that we face, because as per the regulations, we cannot based on certain guidelines, dispense just like that. So at an organization level, while we have to ensure that for the online platform, we do maintain the compliances towards ensuring that we do not dispense or wrongly dispense what we are not supposed to dispense without a proper prescription. But for other products like the wellness and Nutra, We also have other challenges because the end consumer at times do not really compare why the product pricings are so different. For example, our leading malt brand in India, the sugar contents are very high. But for the similar malt for us, we have higher protein content and lesser sugar content at almost 50% lesser pricing. Now there is where the dynamics actually rotates. So we are working it out towards ensuring to make end consumer understand that, hey, you have for enough number of years paid higher premium for all these things, and you should not. Of course, government of India is working equally hard to ensure that end consumer understands the actual essence of these things now. But at a medicine level, still, yes, there are a lot of complications in online for the regulations.
Absolutely. Especially pharmacy, definitely. As you said, some of the drugs, you cannot really depend on the online prescriptions. But over to you, Sanjay. You've been talking about unified commerce. You have no challenges?
I think, if challenges are not there, it's not exciting. And personally, I come from an organization which is a 30-year-old, 35-year-old organization. And the biggest challenge that organizations face today is legacy systems. Because the data is in one system, then bring into the other system, then you have the data again move to the other system. So that's the first challenge. The second challenge is, even today, in all this technology world, if you have a problem as a consumer, and when you call the contact center or go somewhere, you have to narrate your issue every time. And that's what organizations don't realize. That you need to have a one view of the customer available at any point of time to anybody who is interacting with the consumer at the front end. So it is very, very important how do we build our systems, how we build the technology, and then that, as I mentioned, that guy in the front end, because he is the superhuman. He has to know everything and give that solution to the customer, whether it's service, whether it's sales, else, and what you do today becomes hygiene for tomorrow. So we are talking of Q-commerce. Mind it, I'm telling you, there will be neuro-commerce coming in. You think what you want to buy, you open the door, you will get it. That's where we're going to go as retailers. So what is quick commerce? It's going to go away because we're going to give these experiences. Somebody will come up and everybody else will follow. So I think, we create our own challenges and we have our own internal challenges, but as retailers, we have to move on.
So basically, the wife will think about the purchase, the husband will be standing in the door with it.
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic. And Samiran, your closing thoughts on this?
Okay, so quickly, there are... So I'll start with the very first challenge, which is data. It is always based on historical behavior of the consumers. So that is the major challenge. The first challenge is dependency of that. Although we are a tech-first company, but having said that, that is also a very important challenge to address, and also staying relevant. No, so that's where the confusion comes. So also staying relevant to that. So having relevancy also means you have to keep on engaging your team and R&Ds across different aspects where you can basically create a beautiful experience for the consumer. Like we are working on some virtual try-ons, we are working on some digital skin analyzers on the store. There are something which Sanjay already mentioned, that people are walking in and store managers do have the information that, okay, what was their last purchase, what are their private products, what probably their go-to products. So all these things, enabling the store staff with these kind of data real time. Okay, that is the challenge, and probably that's how we are trying to evolve, and evolving is the challenge.